All Because of You, or Zenbu Kimi no Se, is a series about love in its purest form. A type of love that feels very underrepresented in this modern age of division, expectation, and strict binary rules. A love that ignores social concepts, and instead searches for meaning not in physicality through genders and sexuality, but through emotion and tenderness. I discovered this series back in 2024 and happened to stumble across it on one of my many serendipitous walks through the fields of many romance manga online. I'd already read and watched series like Ranma, which I have been procrastinating my video on. I know, it's going to be out soon, I promise. And so the main plot device of All Because of You wasn't anything new to me. But I was not prepared for how it would use it. Not just for funny situations, though there are many of those, but for the genuine display of how the love between the protagonists presents itself, and affects how they see themselves and each other. This is a series I hold very close to me. It was one of my first additions to my list of manga that made me cry, and I'm not afraid to admit that. It's a series that tackles so many emotions in a very progressive way that defies gender norms and expectations. You can feel the heart and soul of the author in how each of the characters struggle with how they're perceived, how they feel love, and how they keep going. All Because of You is a series written and illustrated by Sasaki Norito, and looking through their other works, you can sense a theme in how they write and who they are as a person. I've picked up some of their other works following this series, and they all have this theme of love without boundaries. You can't help but wonder if the restrictive nature of sexuality in Japan is what led to these pseudo-diaristic representations of dysmorphia. But then again, I think part of the beauty in their work is how any reader of any preference can take away meaning from any character. The series follows Ryo Sagamiya, a high school student who has fallen head over heels for his senior, the beautiful star of the school Nagisa Mikami. It's a pretty standard setup, I know, but what transforms it is that Nagisa is neither male nor female. They switch genders on a whim when they feel flustered, specifically that feeling of romantic fear, anxiety, or passion. They're both, and neither at the same time, a non-binary gender identity that they've struggled with all their life, especially as such a token of affection between both male students when in their female form, and female students when in their male form. I love Nagisa's characterization, depicting them as somebody who's genuinely unaware of how to navigate the minefield of love thanks to their unique disposition. To Nagisa, love and attraction isn't second nature to them, no matter how much they try to understand and empathize. This torment has meant they've struggled to get close to people, both out of fear of inevitably rejecting them, disappointing them with their other form, or because they feel like they don't have a place in either social camps of male or female. This is a fine line of existence that, especially in love stories, simply isn't represented. I love the appreciation this series shows for those outside the basic identities of girls and boys, as well as how it recognizes their struggle in relating to the expectations of either gender, and how love exists between them. It's only when Ryo, recently affected with the same TSS, transsexual syndrome, as Nagisa, confesses and brings these binary rules down by dedicating themselves to loving both the male and female Nagisa, an open declaration of bisexuality in a life of constant rejection of one of the halves that makes up Nagisa as a person. The two enter a tentative relationship where Nagisa slowly learns not to live their life to the expectations of traditional practices. The two, very cutely, practice being in a relationship together, from silly manga scenes to full-on, It's only after Nagisa realizes they want this to be true do they grapple with the realization that they too can fall in love, that all the feelings of jealousy, possessiveness, and attraction are all part of it. Now that they understand it, was it worth yearning for? It's so refreshing to see Nagisa take initiative in this chapter where, despite the obvious lack of genuine threat, they still feel jealous and possessive of Ryo, to the point of being genuinely upset over not just being separate from him, but having to see him play pretend lovers with Kai. This is what spearheads Nagisa's resolve to finally respond to Ryo's confession, 30 chapters later. It's a scene that focuses on how much Nagisa has changed, from somebody who existed outside of love to somebody who doesn't want to give up the person who's become closest to them. To see them so comfortable with their emotions and not afraid to hide them or turn away just shows how much their life has changed since meeting Ryo. The art throughout the scene just makes it even more visceral. From Ryo's hesitation to Kai's teasing to Nagisa's resolve, each character is drawn with so much love, and it really pushes the emotive core of the scene from good to great. It's a series where you can see the author find their style in real time, and the difference is so clear when comparing the first chapters to the most recent. But what never changes is how well this is written. From start to finish, the plot, and especially the characters, are stellar. Each is so representative and honest to what personal struggle they're fighting. The author portrays so many types of dysmorphia in genuine, real ways, from Iori and Kai's gender identity to Rui's image issues to Ichika's sexuality. Nothing is shied away from, and we're given just enough time to understand each character and how much they're haunted by their own issues. This understanding is what turns that anxiety into reveling joy as they move past them and are able to accept themselves for who they are. This growth is the core of Ryo and Nagita's relationship, and it's portrayed so beautifully. All parts tender, passionate, and nervous, the two of them are constantly by each other's side, and it really grounds the reader to latch onto them. I already really love romance stories like this, but Ryo and Nagisa really brought something fresh to the table, because until this, I really didn't read much yaoi or yuri, but this series brought both of them into my life. Both of them are attracted to each other, no matter their form, and to see love portrayed like this with no inhibitions is so sweet without ever feeling overbearing or saccharine. On the topic of relationships though, that's where this series can feel a little weak. There's a lot of potential in the extended cast's chemistry, whether it's Rui's support of Iori's cross-dressing or Kai's unrequited love for Ichika. But neither relationship is really given enough time to really be set up, to grow and to get the depth they deserve. It's not really the fault of the author, as by the time these relationships were starting to bloom, the series was in the process of getting axed. This led to Rui and Iori basically never getting anything more than hints, and Kai and Ichika getting their entire confession shoehorned into 2 chapters near the end of the series, and it really hurts the flow. Thankfully, with the revival of this series and this continuation, all because of you, we get a look at Ryo and Nagita's life after high school, and there's potential for these relationships to get another look and more development to grow into the potential they have. To conclude, I love this series, not just for how personal it was to me like Horimiya or Shikamori, but for just how well written and how aware it is. For the genuine tenderness it brings, and the complete lack of inhibition when it comes to how it portrays love. It takes a pretty overused gimmick and makes it the emotional core in a way that's unique, and addresses love, not just romantically, but socially. So many people have felt seen and recognised by this series, and it's apparent by the amount of readers it has. To see it come back from the grave of cancellation has made me really happy. It's a warm, comforting series, all about finding your way, and something that's worth checking out, even if you might not relate to the dysmorphia it portrays. Are you guys sick of hearing me give every series I talk about a 10 out of 10? Hi guys, you might notice I'm Kanaiken now instead of All St. Jimmy. This is just because I didn't really vibe with the old username, and this one feels more original to me. My videos will all be using this branding from now onwards as well. You might also remember that I posted about trying something new in my Ranma video. Yeah, that got scrapped. I was going to try my hand at some 3D animation, but it just didn't really fit the vision I ended up having for the channel. You can see kind of my bad attempts here in this time-lapse. I am currently in the process of re-editing and re-scripting the videos, so expect it to come out next after this one, hopefully within a reasonable amount of time. And yeah, thanks for watching.